Hello, welcome to another episode of Mindset, Money, Success. And today I'm talking to the lovely Dawn Rishárd. Hello, Dawn.
Hello, beautiful Lorraine. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine. um, so, um, the podcast Mindset, Money, Success. So, what's your thoughts on the mindset part of getting to success?
I was gonna say I haven't figured out the money and success part. I'm working on
Yeah,
that.
it comes and goes, I find, to be honest. You can have a time of a period in your life where you've got the money coming in, the success, and you feel fine. And then all of a sudden it just, what happened? Have you found that? Have you had challenges?
I've had plenty of challenges through my divorce, especially.
Mm,
I was married for 27 years, and he was the primary breadwinner, and I was the primary caregiver, even though I was also a flight attendant and a therapist. So I've always had juggled kind of two things at the same time, in
yeah.
addition to being the primary caregiver.
Hmm.
But he lost his job. Well, he took a buyout a few years before we got divorced. And he ended up like, I mean, he didn't work. He worked a few little part-time gigs. And so we had to move. He ended up using his retirement to pay our bills. He's like, well, you should work more. And I'm like, I'm taking care of the kids and you signed up for this. So anyways, when I got divorced, he paid me for a little bit
Hmm.
um, because he got some inheritance, and then he stopped paying me. And then I was like, okay, Dawn, now you need to figure this shit out. Can I say that?
Yeah, that's fine.
So this has really been a journey of figuring out how to take care of myself and my three kids. I mean, granted, they're older, but they're all three living with me because of circumstances. But I have a just turned 25, 22, just graduated from college, which, the divorce decree was he was supposed to pay for two-thirds and I was supposed to pay for a third. Well, I've paid for half.
Yeah.
I've off. And then I've just worked my tail off to try to not try. I've been working my tail off, creating my podcast, figuring out how to become a speaker on stages and all of these things.
Hmm.
So really my work is I'm a licensed professional counselor, although I don't have my license anymore because of a male snafu, blah, 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 another story.
Hmm.
But this whole healing journey, because my mindset when I was in the midst of my marital mess
Hmm.
was, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love. I mean, I helped a lot of couples heal their marriages, but I couldn't fix my own. And so my own mindset, I carried a lot of self-judgment and self-criticism and what's the matter with me that I couldn't figure this out. And so over the course of, I've been divorced for almost 5 years now,
Yeah.
and I've recognized, because I hear in these business, I've been in these a lot of these entrepreneurial coaching programs, et cetera, and they're
Mhm.
always like mindset, mindset, mindset.
Yeah.
And because my work is very emotional, because my counseling work is all emotional,
Hmm.
I've recognized that your mindset is a lot of pre-programming, right? It's a lot of conscious programming. So you can self-sabotage and do things that you don't even recognize because you're not connected to what the source is. And so I say that your mindset is a result of your heart set.
Yeah. I can
And
understand
your
that.
heart set is all of the emotional baggage that you carry around inside of you, because most of us, I think the majority of people in the world, were not taught very well how to express their emotions, manage their emotions, soothe themselves, have open communication, conversations about what's really going on inside of them. And so we have a world full of people who live in their head, which
Hmm.
is not your mind. they live in their head with all of these tapes, that they heard from when they were young, like you're not good enough, be quiet, kids should be seen and not heard. You have all these traumatic experiences.
Money
Many people,
blockages. Money doesn't grow on trees and things like that. Yeah.
I mean, all of this programming that we hear from all of the people and society around us. And then we wonder why we feel anxiety, or we wonder why we feel depressed, and overwhelmed. And so I feel like in the last, especially the last 20 years, we're starting to have conversations like this, which I think, which is why these conversations are so important, because people tend to think, I must be crazy. There's something the matter with me. Why can't I figure this out? I mean, there are all of these things that you say to yourself in your head. But all of my work, even in my own healing journey, I've recognized I have to come back to this heart set of love and acceptance for myself, for all of the challenges that I've had, for all of the drama and trauma that I have experienced, for all of the ways that other people, like for instance, my former husband used to say, you're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. Don't take things so personally. And it's like, my ability to be empathic and compassionate and feeling is a superpower. And so you're telling me not to be who I am. And what is that about? So I think a lot of people in the world walk around thinking I should be somebody different.
Yeah.
I should be somebody different. And so I don't know. Do you know who Joe Dispenza is?
Yeah, I've listened to Joe Dispenza. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like he's been a real pioneer in this industry too, because he always talks about heart resonance with your brain resonance.
Yeah.
And your heart resonance is the strongest resonance, energy frequency in your whole body. So like the brain runs the circuits, but the heart is really the catalyst for everything else in your life.
Yeah.
And so if if we were to learn to become more aware of what's going on in our bodies, because your body is really the receptor for the emotional guidance system. I call your emotions your GPS for your life, because your emotions can tell you, if you're feeling not so great about things, if you're feeling like, oh, somebody just punched me in the gut, they stepped on my boundaries and I feel powerless, or you feel a constriction in your throat, like I want to say something, but I can't say something. So there are all of these ways that our bodies give us signals. And I think that this is the work that we need to do in order to shift our mindset, is to come to that place of managing my heart set. What does my heart set say?
Yeah.
Where am I feeling powerless? Where am I feeling not good enough? Or why am I feeling not good enough? And looking at the past to teach us lessons of how to love and accept ourselves. And then when we do that, regardless of what we've experiencing, or regardless of what struggles we're experiencing in the present moment, it's like, if you can come to a place of love and acceptance for yourself, then the rest of the stuff takes care of it. And it's not like an either or, it's a both and.
Yeah. I mean, you've got positive and negative all the time within everything that goes on. And I see it as what you say, the heart set is when you're in a place of uncertainty or fear or sadness, you're on a low vibration, and it's like the energy spiral where you can vibrate at different levels. Now, if something happens and you're triggered into anger is a quite high vibration. But the love and acceptance is one of the highest. Joy, love, acceptance, peace, as you're going up, up, up. It's the higher and higher vibrations. And I've listened to lots of seminars with Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Mary Morrissey, Tony Robbins, you know, a lot of different people, but the vibrational energy that you can raise yourself through sadness, grief, depression, anxiety, you know, all of this is like the lower vibrations. And you
Right.
need to get into this higher vibration in order that you can attract into your life the more positive things to happen. And then you can then find that success. It's just what you've explained about your heart set, your feelings and your emotions are controlling that, and your thoughts come in and help you to achieve what it is that you've got your mind set on, whatever it is
Right.
that you actually want. And that's how I see it. And it's it's
Well, it,
it's just what you've been explaining there about your heart set, your vibration.
right. It's interesting because I feel like our, our society and the messages that we received have said, and this is also interesting, that people say, well, just don't think about, the stuff that's on the lower vibration. But what you don't, um, when you repress all of those things, it's like ignore them and they'll go away. Sweep them under the rug. My mother-in-law used to say that all the time. I was raised, sweep it under the rug, ignore it, pretend like it doesn't happen. But what happens when you do that is you keep it, it's like you keep it in this container, meaning your body,
Yes.
and then you get disease.
Mm-hmm.
You get all sorts of physical manifestations of this lower vibrational energy in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not ignore them, it's learn from them.
Yeah.
It's be aware of them. And I have this little acronym. It's called ACE,
Yeah.
ACE.
Yeah.
A, pay attention to what's going on inside of you when these emotions come up. Okay, so you have this awareness, like, oh, I'm feeling triggered, or oh, I'm feeling scared right now, or oh, I'm feeling attacked, or feeling whatever it is, I'm feeling angry.
Yeah.
So what is this reminding me of? How is this trying to redirect me or make me stand up more powerful for myself, or create more boundaries, or deal with my sadness of what I never had, or the lost hopes and dreams of my marriage that I wanted, for instance. So A is this awareness. C, instead of judging, well, you shouldn't be angry, you shouldn't be sad, you're too sensitive, you're feeling too much, you're taking things too personally. It's like, no, my emotions are my guidance system. So let me be curious about them. You don't judge them, first of all.
Yeah.
I don't judge them, second of all. So curious, what are they trying to tell me? What are they trying to teach me? How are they trying to guide me in a different direction? And so this is that whole spectrum of the emotional vibration frequency system, that that and E is expression, healthy and constructive expression of your emotions. So think of all the music out there that talks about lost love, or frustration, or love, or hurt or heartache, or all the things. Music, dance, art, um, creation. It's
Creating.
basically
Yeah.
like
Yes.
creative energy.
Yeah.
And so if you can,
Poetry, public write
poetry,
books, stuff like, yeah.
building a building, going out and pounding nails into wood. I mean, anything that's creative energy. And so if you can use that little ACE acronym to recognize what's going on for you, then you can use that to raise your vibration from the lower vibrational frequencies of sadness and grief and anger and frustration and apathy and anxiety and depression, all of those things that make you feel like crap. I mean, they make you feel badly, right?
Yeah.
And so all of those higher vibration things, it's like you're readjusting your heart set, to that frequency of how can I feel a little bit better? How can I make one little shift? Like in the airline industry, the pilots say you shift 1 degree, it changes the entire trajectory of your journey.
Yeah.
And so when we learn to do that, if I can just make these 1 degree shifts, how can I go from feeling sad to let me watch something funny and have a laugh?
Mm-hmm.
You can make these shifts. If I'm feeling, oh, I don't have enough, I'm feeling scarcity, it's like I live in a good place. I've always have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my back. I have people that love me in my life, so the things that I'm grateful for, the blessings that I have in my life. And so you have to continually retrain your mind and take care of that heart set so that they're in alignment. And that's the shift. That's the shift, is when you feel good, you're constantly seeking, I just want to feel a little bit better. I have these goals and dreams of things that I want to do and the legacy I want to leave in the world and how I want to show up in the world. And if I'm stuck in these lower vibrational things, I'm not showing up as my best self. I'm not being my best self. And I say too, an acorn has all of the expression of the oak tree that it becomes in the little seed, right? So everything that you already are, you already have.
It's inside,
all the answers. And I feel like this whole, I do call it an awakening. I don't say, oh, I'm woke. That's not it. It's just like you're coming to this place of we are really powerful. We're powerful creators. And when I feel stuck, it's like, what do I need to create in my life? What do I want to create in my life? And it all comes back to this sense of, the things that bring you joy. The things that bring you joy. I feel like life is meant to feel fun and fulfilling, and you feel like you have a purpose, and everybody wants to feel loved and cared for and valued. But are you doing those things for yourself? Are you doing those things for yourself? And when you do those things for yourself, when you show up for yourself, when you create that resonance of, my heart set is good. I may be struggling. I may have challenges. I may feel badly about myself sometimes, but at the end of the day, I go, you know what? I'm pretty awesome. I'm a pretty amazing human being. I'm very kind. I'm very compassionate. I try to make people laugh or make people feel better. I try to contribute to humanity in a positive way. And I think that all of us want to feel that. I'm a valued part of this community, even though sometimes I feel completely invisible.
Yeah. It's a difficult balance to get through, especially when you've come through a lot of challenges and you've been in a space of uncertainty. You're not sure what's going to happen. You've got money struggles, family struggles. It impacts as a person. I mean, I've been through a lot of different grief in the last 3 years myself, so I know exactly what it's like when you sometimes think, do I have to get out of bed? You're in that real like bottom part of the vibrational energy, and you just think, oh, not another day. But you're right, because you do need to sort of then push yourself and just find something that, well, I've still got a roof over my head. I'm living in a nice place. We've got the sunshine all of the time. And so you can
Right.
always look and find something that you can think to yourself, well, look, and you look in the mirror and you think, not bad looking for the age. There's all sorts of things you can say to yourself, oh, you're looking amazing, so there is things you can do. And if you really want to, stick some music on and
That's my favorite.
do some dance or even sing, because if you sing, you're using your voice, and that's a vibration. So the singing part is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a dancer, so that's been a
Brilliant.
huge part of my healing journey is really I turn on the music, I just get into my body. I'm not thinking of anything else. I'm just
Mm,
present in the moment and using my body to move whatever kind of energy.
mhm.
And so, people can do it in all sorts of ways. I mean, think of like a toddler who's having a temper tantrum and then just laying on the floor, just kicking and screaming.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you could do that. You could do that. Put on some angry music if you're feeling angry. Put on some sad music if you're feeling sad and cry your eyes out for
Mhm.
5 minutes or however long it takes. But the emotions, I say they're energy and motion. And
Yeah.
so they don't stay stuck within you unless you suppress them.
Mhm.
It's and
And
you
that's the
have
danger. That is a danger to suppress these things because I know a lot of people who have, and I've seen a lot of people who've got all sorts of, like you said, diseases from suppressing
yep,
that. The
yep,
anger is suppressing anger is one of the biggest things. If you suppress too much anger, that can
yep.
cause all told of diseases, which is
Heart
not,
attacks, for instance,
yeah, stress, stomach cancers, lots of,
cancer.
mm,
I mean, all of these ways that we store we store this emotional energy, and so whatever vibration and frequency it holds on to. Do you know that I always forget his name. He was a Japanese research that did that study of water.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It was that the one where he put the rice in the water and he did the different. Was it that one or was it the other one?
Oh, he took different. I think his name is Masimoto. I'm not positive, but
Mm,
he did this experiment where he had these different water containers. I mean, and they were all the same container, and he put different words on the container:
yeah,
anger, fear, sadness, love, joy, peace, and all of
the lower
negative
ones. Yeah,
the
negative.
lower vibration words. He took out the drops of water and put them on the microscope, and they were all muddy and cloudy
Mm,
and dirty and discombobulated.
yeah,
And then the higher vibrational words, love, joy, peace, gratitude, those he put in the under the microscope, and they were all these beautiful, clear, lucid, bright, crystalline figures that looked like various snowflakes
yeah,
just by putting a word. So if you think about what words are you constantly saying to yourself, what emotions are you not expressing, but you're holding inside of you? Are you making your system more, cloudy and
yeah.
brown and murky? Or are you making it, are you bringing light and all these higher vibrational frequencies? Are you making more light in your life?
Mm,
Because I feel like so many people walk around with this heaviness, these suppressed emotions, and it's like we're supposed to. I feel like this is our journey, that we're we're here, we are created from love, regardless of your birth circumstances. Um, and you have all these experiences in your life that block you from experiencing, feeling, giving, receiving love. And then I feel like our whole life is a constant, continuous learning to eliminate those barriers and
mhm.
those negative frequency and thought patterns and experiences. It's like, what did I learn? I'm still standing here despite the crap that I have been through. I mean, I have talked to some people that have been through hell and back numerous times, and
Mm,
they are still showing up. They have learned to connect that heart, to get that heart set, to say, you know what, I'm a really amazing person. I'm a good person, and I'm doing good things in the world. I'm continually growing and evolving and
yeah.
becoming more of who I was already meant to be. And they have this place of, my relationship with myself is the most important relationship I'll ever have.
Mm,
That alignment and that resonance between my mind, my heart, my body, my soul. And when you're in alignment with that, like, you can change the world.
Yeah.
You change yourself, you focus on yourself, and that sets the stage and the foundation for every other relationship in your life.
Yeah.
And so, so then you live this life full of gratitude and joy and beauty. Like you see the world through clear, crystalline eyes. You have compassion for people's mess and messiness and stuckness. And, because all the people that are out there expressing rage and being destructive, they're hurt. They're really, really hurting, insecure, afraid, hurting. Perhaps they were abused, perhaps they were neglected. I mean, all of the ways that we don't take care of ourselves, but it's your responsibility to take care of that heart set and that mindset and showing up. You know, if you write your eulogy, I don't know if you've ever done this.
I've seen the exercise, yeah.
You write your eulogy and you say, this is how I want to be remembered, and then be that person, show up as that person. I know in the midst of my marital mess, I was like, I do not like the woman that I am being in this relationship, but that's my responsibility. I have to take care. I have to create my own sense of peace, my own sense of joy, my own sense of happiness, my own sense of love, my own sense of all of these things that I was blaming him. Like, I'm not being this because you're treating me such and such. It's like, that's your stuff. This is my stuff. So I'm going to get right with my stuff. And then it doesn't matter whether I stay or leave. I mean, at that point, I didn't even know if I was going to get divorced, but I ultimately chose to get divorced. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for the things that I create in my life, not necessarily things that happen to me, but what I do with them, so that I say these things are happening for me because they're helping me become a better person. They're helping me become a better version of myself. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm sharing the lessons that I learned to hopefully help and inspire other people, that they can overcome whatever that they've gone through. And whatever you go through, you can grow through.
Yeah, it's a bit like what I've heard in some personal development groups. You can turn your mess into your message. And so that's
Your
where I'm
pain
at.
your pain into your purpose.
Pain into your purpose, exactly. And so that's where
Lessons into blessings.
yeah. And all of the things that's happened, all these challenges has happened, and all these mistakes that has happened is like a learning curve. And I'm
Mistakes.
recording these things to actually publish another book because I want to put the second part of my book. The first part was like the first couple of years, and now it's 3.5 years post separation. So I've got a whole load more things that I need to write about, which is brilliant because I can see
Well,
where
you
the
have a lot of
mistakes.
yeah, you have a lot of wisdom to share. And I think this is the challenge, because when you're in the mess, and I was in the thick of my marriage, and I was crying a lot. I mean, I cried hundreds of times in my marriage, and not for joy.
Mm,
Um, and I just kept asking myself, why is this happening? I don't understand. I know I'm a good person. I know I deserve to be treated nicely, and it's not happening. And what's the matter with me? And all of these things, when you're in the midst of it, it's
yeah,
hard to see out of it. It's hard to see the forest through the trees, or to see
yeah,
the light at the end of the tunnel. But I feel like all of our life, if you believe in your own sense of resilience and strength, and somehow I'll figure this out someday. I don't know when that someday is going to be, but you have that trust and belief in yourself, that you create this sense of safety and security within yourself. No
yeah,
matter what else is going on, I'm good. So this is the whole idea, or I feel like our whole life is about coming back to this place of love and acceptance and appreciation for exactly who you are, what you've experienced, what you've been through, how you came through, grew through things. Oh, yeah, that's what we were saying.
mhm.
Turn your mess into your message,
Message.
turn your pain into your purpose,
Yeah.
turn your lessons into your blessings. And when you're in the midst of the mess and the pain and the lessons, it's hard for you to see through. And so how can we learn to soothe ourselves and create a sense of stability and safety and security for ourselves? I say it's like the tree, that has deep roots.
Yes.
The tree with the deepest roots can grow the strongest and the tallest and the most expansive. And so you have to do that with the tree of your own life. You have to create these deep, strong roots of stability, security, and safety. And so that when you're growing, as you're growing and evolving and continuing to grow and expand, that you're nourishing yourself with the things that help you grow, and and I say the fertilizer helps you grow, right? Helps
Some
the
of,
tree grow. The
some of
fertilizer
it
helps the tree grow. But
definitely strengthens you somewhat. Yeah.
it strengthens you, but you also need the sunlight and the rain, the nourishment to help you grow. And are you focusing on the fertilizer? Are you focusing up where the light is and where the nourishment comes from? And it's this constant regenerative process, and and of course, I mean, I have a spiritual perspective on all of this. It's that is that we come from this source that is greater than we are, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like all of these things that happen in your life, they disconnect you from your source. And so a lot of people are feeling disconnected from their body, mind, heart, soul.
Yeah.
And it's a process. It's you have to integrate and realign all of these parts of yourself. And if you're forgetting any of the parts, it's like you're not showing up as your whole complete self. And so a lot of this inner work is a reconnection to your spirit, your soul. And that's why so many people are now talking about meditation.
Yes.
Meditation, getting in this quiet space of releasing your mind, getting rid of all of that chatter so that you can open up to inspiration and imagination and creativity, all the things that you do it naturally as a kid. Naturally as a kid, you pretend to be a superhero. You pretend to be a princess or a prince or a king or a queen. You pretend to be, Darth Vader or Star Wars, where you're shooting the bad people. So all of these things that you do naturally as a kid, you go out on the playground and you play. You have a temper tantrum that lasts for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you get up and you're on to the next thing. And so if we can somehow return to that childlike nature of ours that's innocent and pure and loving and kind and, just looking at the world through these beautiful, innocent, sweet eyes. I mean, I think this is one of the greatest gifts of being a parent, is that you remember seeing, through your children, you see how they see the world, and they do see possibilities, and nothing can stop them. Yeah. And so when you have these dreams and visions and imagination inside of you, things that you see that is possible for you, don't let anybody else tell you no. That's their own stuff, so in that whole reconnection and realignment with all the energy that is, and reconnecting and realigning that heart space and that mindset, heartset mindset, and soul set and body set, regardless of how old you are. I mean, I know somebody, she's in the fashion industry, and I think she's in her mid to late 60s, and she dresses really avant-garde. And she says, the younger you dress, the older the longer you live.
Yeah.
The younger you dress, the longer you live. The more playful and play and creativity and imagination you have in your life, like you live a long, fulfilling life because you're constantly dreaming and creating and expanding and not staying in these little narrow parameters of boxes that other people try to fit us in.
That's
So
true.
it's like, you know, baby shouldn't sit in the corner. Nobody puts me in a box. It's like, who am I? Who am I becoming? What things light me up? What things bring me joy? What things do I find meaning and purpose in? And I feel like that's the purpose of life, is to actually live.
Yeah.
Live, not just survive, not
Yeah.
just stress out. And, it's like there's so many blessings and goodness in this life. And this is one reason why I don't watch the news, because I don't want all that negative,
I
lower
don't.
vibrational energy into my mind, body, heart, and soul. And so there's so many things that, I feel like so many people are walking around lost and confused and depressed and anxious. And it's all because of this. Like, reintegrate these parts of yourself and focus, don't deny, don't suppress. We talked about that before. It's like,
Yeah.
you have to feel to heal. You have to reconnect to all of these parts of yourself to recognize that you are an amazing creation of the universe. There's no one in the world just like you. So stop trying to be somebody else. Stop trying to be somebody else. You are who you are. And so embrace that, appreciate it, love on yourself, give gratitude for all of the lessons that you have learned on how to show up for yourself or show up for others, or have more compassion for yourself and extend that grace to others. I mean, if we all loved on each other, and if we all loved on ourselves and loved on each other, and as long as people don't show up with an intention to hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how much peace, harmony, love, unity, community, I mean, all
Yeah.
the things that people desire in
I
their
don't know.
life.
Do you feel that there's like a whole the world is like moved in a different space for the last like 20 or 30 years? It seems as if things have gone in the wrong direction. It's a bit that's a
Um,
weird.
I I actually feel like things are going in the right direction, that everything is an adjustment. And so many people, I mean, especially, well, I don't know, especially, but I can talk about a lot of these things, like the women's move, the feminist movement, and then people, oh, why are you such a feminist? Oh, you mean it's wrong to believe in the equal value and worth of women versus men? I mean, there should be no verses. That's the thing. There should
Yeah.
be no verses. And so all the gender issues, the racial issues, the religious issues, the cultural issues, I mean, all of these things create a sense of disconnect and fear and separation. And I think that a lot of times the powerful people with a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
um, politicians, it's like they want this separation,
Yeah.
because
That
if there's unity and harmony, then there's no way to control people.
yeah. I think this is the biggest thing what's happened is the control of people, society, and that's what I've seen coming in, the controlling of people with all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the person who wrote the book and has done videos on it, but I have watched a couple of those things. But there is the other side of it as well, where people who are more empathetic are human rights issues, and they're the ones who are like looking at how to make the connections to stop the divide, because once
Right.
the divide is there, you've got this section and this section coming together in loggerheads, which is it's just no good whatsoever unless you can get two powerful things together and say we're going in this direction. Then they're always going to be bumping into each other, and they're not going to move or like create or do anything purposeful or useful, basically.
Well, and I mean, I have this conversation with my parents about politics. I'm not very political at all, but I recognize even in my own country, in the US, that pretty much every election is around 50-50.
Yeah.
It's around, 48 to 52, 49 to 51. It's not like 27 to 80, 80 to 73, whatever it is. And so you have 8 billion people in the world who are raised differently, who have different religious beliefs, who have different cultural norms, who have different, perspectives on how to be in the world. And you're never going to agree with everybody. That's not the point. The point is not to agree with everyone. The point is to respect people and accept people and be kind to people, while also doing things that benefit the majority of people. Everyone wants clean water. Everyone deserves clean water. Everyone deserves to have food in their belly every day. Everyone deserves to have a roof over their heads. Everyone deserves to get the health care that they need. Everyone deserves to get support when they're dealing with emotional or mental challenges. And everyone deserves an education. Everyone deserves to have a fulfilling and meaningful life. Everyone deserves to live a life where they're not afraid. Where they're not afraid, that they don't have to walk down the street being afraid of somebody, something. And so all of these societal ways in which we're messed up, these are the things that I feel like these are human rights.
Yeah.
Why can't we all be concerned about everyone's human rights? Now, people who continually harm people, that's not okay either. That's not okay either. So we have so many different systems that don't quite work for the majority. They may serve a subset of humanity. But these are big issues. I'm not talking about, well, I can just love myself and everything will go away. No, I'm not that naive. But imagine a world where everyone felt loved and valued and cared for and important. That then we would all be contributing to humanity and to our society and to our community in positive and constructive ways, rather than suppressing everything and turning to destruction.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, a lot of people do destroy themselves with all sorts of different methods for their addictions and things like that. So,
and that's that disconnection. That's that feeling. I mean, disassociated, that the addict is full of shame and self-judgment and self-criticism. And the only thing that they can control is their numbing ability, their ability to numb themselves. They feel powerless. That's the 12-step program. Number 1, I'm powerless. I'm powerless. But at the same time, you are powerful, but you've forgotten. And it doesn't mean powerful over, it means powerful within. If I'm powerful within, there's no need for me to exert any kind of power or manipulation over you, because I honor and respect your sovereignty, your ability to make choices for yourself, your ability to listen to your own heart and soul, that to do what's right for you. Everybody has that free will.
That's right.
So there's so many multiple layers, and thank you for letting me share so much, because I could just talk for hours about this stuff.
It's been really interesting to listen to all of your ideas and things, yeah. And quite a lot of it has resonated with me because I've studied personal development in the past with, Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey, and Randy Gage. So a
Yeah,
lot of different personal development speakers, coaches.
yeah,
And a lot of what you're saying is exactly the way I see things as well.
yeah.
It's
And
been,
I always go back to John Lennon's, I mean, the
mhm.
Beatles. All you need is love.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. It's like, oh, that's so hippie. It's like, no, actually, could you imagine if everyone just felt loved?
Mm.
Felt
Yeah.
loved. It- I mean, who would be unhappy if they felt loved? If I
True.
feel loved, cared for, why would I worry about anything else? Because, this is, I mean, of course, I'm looking at a utopian, idealistic, yeah, idealistic society. But, I think that the reason that we've had all the wars and destruction and stuff is because of all the things that I've been talking about. It's this
Mm.
internal disconnect of fear and separation as opposed to love and connection and community,
Yeah.
and allowing people to be who they are if we're all in turn respecting and being kind. And you know I don't know, there's so many things that I just continue to think and process and ponder. And
Yeah. Yeah.
but mindset and heart set,
Yeah.
you got to manage both. You have
Mm-hmm.
to take care of both because they both impact the other.
Mm-hmm.
So get right with your heart set. All the emotional stuff that you've been taught to suppress, stop doing that. Stop suppressing it. It doesn't work. You end up at the end of your life. What's one of the five greatest regrets of the dying is,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have made myself more happy. I
Mm.
wish I would have spent more time with my family and friends. No one ever dies saying, oh, I wish I would have worked more.
No.
I wish I would have suffered more.
No. But that's been very interesting. So thank you, Dawn. And
Thank you for letting me share so much. I'm sorry we got cut off after my rambling.
it's fine. So yeah, it's been a good episode and
Thank
enjoyed
you
it.
for having me,
So
Lorraine.
yeah, keep in touch.
I will.